Hello everyone. In this module, we are going to learn about image plotting, and following are the topics that we are going to discuss. Firstly, we will understand what is image plotting. After that, we will see which operations we can perform on an image. So let's begin. You all know that for data visualization in Python, we use the Matplotlib library. So now we will learn to use this library to show, edit, and save an image, or we can say an picture. For this, we will use the IamShow function from the pyplot package, which we discussed in the last module. And using this function, we will perform a variety of operations on an image. So let's discuss the following operation which we can perform on an image using an Matplotlib. The first operation is we can check the shape of an image. The next one is by using Matplotlib we can also display an image. Even we can crop an image using Matplotlib, and we can perform operation of removing axis on an image. The next operation is if we want to convert an image to grayscale from any other color, we can do it. And even we can modify the image to any other color without grayscale. And the last operation which we can perform on an image is we can save the image. So in the previous module, we have studied that the IamShow function is used to display the data point as in color dots. But now we will discuss that the IamShow function is used to display the data as an image. So we can say that the IamShow function is used for displaying data as an image and also as a color dots or boxes. So now we will see an example of image plotting so we can understand the concept clearly. So here is the example. Firstly, we will learn to import an image, and for this the code is import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. After that, I call the imread function which is used to import an image. Then I pass the name of the image as a parameter and I assign image as a variable to it. In my case, I have kept an image in the Jupyter notebook. That's why I am able to use the name of the file directly. But if the image is at the another location, you have to specify the whole path. So now I execute this code. The code successfully executed. It means image is imported. So now we will learn to read the image. So for this, I call the print function and I pass text as a image as an error, and I pass image variable which I defined above as a parameter to it. So now I execute this code. So it will display image as an array. So it is an array form. So now we will learn to see the shape of an imported image. For this, we again call the print function, and as a text I pass shape of an image, and I use the image.shape function to display the shape of an imported image. Now I execute this code, and here you can see that it displays the shape of an image. So now we will learn to display an image on the screen. For this, I call the IamShow function and I pass the image as a parameter to it, which I defined as a variable above. And in last, I call the show function to display the image on the screen. For now, I execute this code, and here you can see that this is the image which I read earlier. Now I display it on the screen. So now we will learn to turn off the axis of an image. So on the above image, you can see that the image has x-axis and y-axis. The x-axis starts from 0 and ends at 200, and the y-axis starts from 200 and ends at 0. So now we will learn to turn off it. For this, I call the plt.axis function and I pass off as a parameter to it, which will use to turn off the axis. Then I call the plt.show function and I pass image as a parameter to it, which shows the image on the screen, and in last I call the show function. So now I execute this code and here is the output. Now you can see that both the image are same, but the latest image doesn't have any axis on it, but the previous image has axis on x-axis and the y-axis. So now we will learn to crop an image. Sometimes we don't need the full picture, we want to crop it. For this I call the image and I pass value as a slicing. So first I passed 20 colon 100, then I passed 45 colon 142, and I set a variable as a crop. So now I call IamShow function and I pass crop as a parameter. Now I want to show the cropped image, so I pass crop variable to it. So last I call the show function to display an image. Now I execute the code and here you can see that here it only sees the logo of Python guides, not the rest of an image. So for this we use the ticks and labels on the axis, which is used for selecting image as a slicing. So this 20 and 200 is a ticks and the labels which we have on image. So the original image look like that, but after cropping it, it only shows the logo of pythonguides.com. So now we will learn to convert the colored image to black and white, or we can say that the grayscale using CMap, where CMap means color map. So slicing can be used to convert 3D RGB color image into 2D grayscale image, and to convert it into a grayscale, we select only one of the three dimensions. So here you can see that the first two dimensions are blank, and in the last dimension I pass 0 as a value. And I assign gray underscore image as a variable to it. Then I call the IamShow function as I want to display an image, and as a image name I pass gray underscore image as a parameter. Then I call the CMap parameter and I set its value to gray. And in last I call the show function to display an image. Now I execute this code and now you can see that this colored image is changed to black and white, or we can say that the grayscale. So now we will learn to change the colored image to black and white, but in this case we are not going to use a CMap as we used in the previous example. So in this case, I similarly call an image as an array and I pass only one dimension out of a 3 and I set it to 0. Now I call plt.imshow and I pass gray underscore image as a parameter or an image name, and in last I call the show function. But in this case, I doesn't pass CMap parameter which I used in the above example. Now I execute this code and here you can see that this image shown in some purplish color, not in black and white. So we have to use an CMP parameter if we want to convert it into exact black and white color. So now we will learn to change the image color to any other color. For this, I call image and I select only one of the three dimension and I set it to 0 and I assign color underscore image as a variable name to it. Now I call the plt.imshow function as I want to display an image. I want to display an image which name is color underscore image as I assign variable color underscore image. And in this case, I use the CMap parameter to change an color of an image, but in this time I want to change it into a summer. So I pass summer as a value and I call the show function in the last to display an image. Now I execute this code and here you can see that the image convert into green and yellowish color, and here you can see the original image is like this, but now when I call the summer color CMap as a parameter, it will look like this. So in the last we will learn to save an image. For this I use the above image same as it is, and addition to it I call the plt.savefig function and I pass a name of an image on which I want to save it. For this I pass new underscore Python guides, and I want to save this image as a PNG extension, so I pass .png to it. Now I execute this code, and here you can see that it shows the image on the screen also, and it will also save the image on the Jupyter notebook. I will show you the image which it saved on the Jupyter notebook. So here you can see that it saved this image. The address bar shows that it's save image at localhost dot 8888 view new underscore python guides dot png, which I set name of the image. So here is the image which we save in our Jupyter notebook. So with this we have learned image plotting, and in the next module we will learn color bar